Look at the modern city. It is a marvel of engineering, a testament to human ambition, and a hub of culture. But beneath the steel skyline and the bustling streets, there is an invisible phenomenon at work. As the sun sets, the countryside cools down, breathing a sigh of relief, but the city does not. It holds on to the heat, baking in a thermal bubble of its own making. This is what scientists call an urban heat island. Today, we are going to deconstruct the physics of our concrete jungles to understand why our cities are getting hotter, what that means for our future, and how we can engineer our way back to a cooler existence. So what exactly is an urban heat island? It is defined as a metropolitan area that is significantly warmer than its surrounding rural areas, effectively creating a bubble of hot air that sits over the city. This isn't just a feeling, it is a measurable meteorological fact. The data is stark. On average, cities can be 1 to 7 degrees Fahrenheit hotter during the day compared to the countryside. But the most dangerous difference happens after dark. At night, when the body needs to cool down, cities can remain 2 to 5 degrees Fahrenheit hotter than their rural neighbors. This nocturnal heat is the silent signature of the urban heat island. To visualize this, imagine a cross-section of the landscape. If we were to draw a line representing temperature from the countryside to the city center, it would look like an island rising from the sea. The rural areas, the farms, forests, and open fields form the cool sea with flat, lower temperatures. As we approach the suburbs, the line begins to rise, but when we hit the city center, we see sharp temperature spikes. It is here, among the dense downtown concrete and skyscrapers, that we reach the peak of the heat island. This profile reveals that the heat is not random. It is a direct result of how we build. The first culprit in this thermal mystery is a concept called albedo. Albedo is a scientific measure of how well a surface reflects sunlight. Think of walking in the snow. It is bright because high albedo white surfaces reflect heat away. Now, look at our cities. They are dominated by low albedo surfaces. We have paved the world in dark asphalt roads and topped our buildings with black tar roofs. Instead of reflecting the sun's energy, these dark materials soak it up. They absorb the solar radiation all day long, storing it like a massive battery, ready to release it later. The second cause is what we have taken away. We have replaced the living skin of the earth with a dead one. In nature, plants perform a miraculous cooling process called evapotranspiration. They release water vapor into the air, which cools the environment much like sweat cools the human body. It is essentially nature's air conditioning system. However, modern cities have replaced these cooling trees and grassy fields with dry concrete and steel. By eliminating natural shade and moisture, we have turned off the outdoor AC, leaving our cities parched and exposed to the full force of the sun. As we move deeper into the city, the architecture itself begins to trap us. This is known as the urban canyon effect. Tall buildings line the streets like steep canyon walls. When sunlight enters these man-made canyons, it doesn't just hit the ground and bounce back into space. It bounces between the multiple vertical surfaces of the skyscrapers. With every bounce, more heat is absorbed by the building materials. Consequently, the heat becomes trapped at street level and cannot escape back into the sky, even at night. We are essentially living inside a solar oven. But the sun isn't the only source of heat. We are also heating the city from within. This is cause number 4, waste heat, or anthropogenic heat. Every time you turn the key in a car ignition, the engine releases hot exhaust. Every factory machine hums with thermal energy. Even the massive servers powering our digital lives produce steady waste heat. Ironically, the air conditioners we use to stay cool pump massive amounts of heat out of our buildings and into the streets. This anthropogenic heat accumulates in the urban environment throughout the day, adding a layer of artificial warmth to the solar load. There is also a hydrological factor at play: impermeable surfaces. In a rural setting, soil acts as a sponge. It absorbs rainwater, holding it near the surface, where it can eventually evaporate and cool the air. Cities destroy this cycle. City pavement is watertight and impermeable. When it rains, the water flows immediately into storm drains and disappears. This leaves the ground completely dry. Without water to evaporate, there is no cooling mechanism, allowing the pavement to heat up much faster and reach higher temperatures than damp soil ever would. All of these factors culminate in a phenomenon that is most potent after the sun goes down. The urban heat island effects are strongest at night. In the countryside, the ground cools quickly after sunset because there is nothing holding the heat. But the city is different. The millions of tons of concrete, brick, and asphalt have been absorbing energy all day. Now, they act like a massive thermal battery. They release that stored daytime heat slowly throughout the night. This keeps urban areas hot while the suburbs cool, denying city dwellers the reprieve they need. This isn't just a matter of comfort, it is a matter of survival. The impact on human health is profound. The lack of nighttime cooling leads to an increased risk of heat exhaustion and heat stroke. Our bodies rely on cooler night temperatures to recover from the stress of the day. When that doesn't happen, the physiological strain accumulates. This is especially dangerous for vulnerable groups: the elderly, young children, and individuals who cannot afford or do not have access to air conditioning. For them, the heat island can be deadly. The heat also strains our infrastructure, creating a dangerous energy consumption feedback loop. As cities get hotter, millions of residents are forced to run their air conditioning more frequently and at higher power. This surge in demand strains the electrical grid, but the cycle is vicious. More AC usage increases electricity consumption, which generates more waste heat at the power plants and from the AC units themselves. We are releasing more heat to fight the heat, making the city even hotter in the process. The heat affects the very air we breathe, leading to air quality deterioration. The city atmosphere acts like a chemical reactor. High temperatures accelerate chemical reactions between vehicle exhaust, nitrogen oxides, and sunlight. This reaction creates ground-level ozone, commonly known as smog. This isn't just unsightly, it is toxic. Smog triggers asthma attacks and causes serious respiratory problems. The hotter it gets, the faster this reaction occurs, meaning heat islands directly contribute to the poisoning of urban air, particularly affecting children. The impact extends even to the water flowing beneath and around our cities. We see issues with water quality and thermal pollution. Remember those hot pavements? When a summer storm hits, the rain strikes surfaces that can be 120 degrees or hotter. This hot pavement heats the rainwater instantly before it flows into storm drains. This heated water eventually surges into local rivers and streams. This sudden influx of hot water, thermal pollution, can shock and kill fish populations and seriously disrupt the delicate balance of aquatic ecosystems. We have diagnosed the disease. Now let's look at the cure. Solution 1 involves bringing nature back: urban forestry programs. It sounds simple, but it is highly effective. Planting trees along streets and in car parks provides a canopy of shade that blocks solar radiation from ever hitting the asphalt. But trees do more than shade. They sweat. Through evaporative cooling, trees release moisture that cools the surrounding air. Strategic planting of trees around buildings can cool them by 10 to 15 degrees, drastically reducing the need for air conditioning. If we can't plant a tree, we can change the surface. Solution 2 is cool roofs technology. Remember albedo? We can manipulate it. By painting roofs white or using special reflective materials, we increase the reflectivity of the building. This bounces the sun's energy back into space rather than absorbing it into the building. This keeps the building naturally cooler and reduces AC usage. Cities like New York have already implemented cool roofs programs, painting millions of square feet of black tar roofs white to lower the city's fever. We can take the roof concept a step further with Solution 3, green roofs. Instead of just paint, we use plants. By planting gardens on building roofs, we add a layer of soil and vegetation that acts as a powerful insulator. These roofs absorb rainwater, preventing that hot runoff we discussed earlier. Furthermore, green roofs provide valuable habitat for birds and insects in the middle of the city. They cool the building beneath them and the air around them, turning barren rooftops into thriving ecosystems. But what about the roads? Traditional asphalt is one of the biggest heat absorbers, soaking up to 95% of sunlight. Solution 4 is the use of cool pavements. Engineers have developed lighter colored additives and special coatings that can be applied to streets and parking lots. These innovative surfaces reflect more solar energy back into space. By simply changing the color and chemistry of our streets, we can significantly reduce street-level temperatures, making the city more walkable and comfortable. Finally, we must look at the blueprint of the city itself. Solution 5 is smart city planning. We can design cities with physics in mind. By optimizing building orientation, architects can create wind corridors that allow natural wind flow to flush out hot air and cool urban areas effectively. We can also add blue spaces, fountains, ponds, and uncovered streams. Water has a high heat capacity, meaning it absorbs heat without getting warm quickly, helping to stabilize temperatures in dense urban centers. Why is this urgent now? Because of the climate change connection. We are not just dealing with local heat, we are dealing with a warming planet. Global warming is raising average temperatures everywhere. When you combine this global trend with the local effects of urban heat islands, the result is a multiplier effect. It makes city heat waves even more intense, more frequent, and more deadly. Fixing urban heat islands is a critical part of climate adaptation. It helps cities protect vulnerable populations as we face a warming world. In summary, the problem of the urban heat island is a problem of physics. Heat absorption, low evaporation, and geometric trapping effects create dangerous conditions for millions of people. But physics also offers the solution. We know what works. Green solutions work best. By integrating more plants, embracing lighter colors, and utilizing smarter urban design, we can cool our cities effectively. The city of the future doesn't have to be a concrete oven. It can be a cool, breathable, and living habitat for us all.